Hello, coolers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on some interesting transfer updates. We start with Franck Kessie, as it has been reported that the Barcelona midfielder does not want Italy move and he will consider leaving only for the Premier League if pushed by Barcelona. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then secondly, talking about this Inter Milan midfielder, Marcelo Brozovic, as it has been reported that the player is still seriously considering a move to Barcelona amid strong interest from the Camp Nou. We are also going to be discussing more on that. So guys, as we get right into the full stories, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you are just coming across the channel for the very first time, you are highly welcome. Consider liking the video and please watch it right up to the very end. Franck Kessie's future at FC Barcelona continues to be uncertain, with contradicting reports emerging over his continuity at the club. With the Catalan Giants needing to make sales this summer in order to resolve their financial fair play situation, 26-year-old Franck Kessie has been linked with an exit. Inter Milan, for one, have been heavily linked with a move for the midfielder. The Nerazzurri have been working on signing Franck Kessie since January as part of a potential player exchange operation involving Marcelo Brozovic. The UEFA Champions League finalists continue to retain an interest in Kessie, but as per Mundo Deportivo, the midfielder is least interested in a return to Italy this summer. Franck Kessie joined Barcelona from AC Milan last summer, after having won the Serie A title with AC Milan. Prior to his 5-year stint in Milan, the midfielder has stints with Atalanta and Casena on loan. In all, Kessie spent more than 7 years in Italy, and he believes that his time in the country is done. As such, he has no desire to return to the Serie A by signing for Inter Milan this summer. The Ivorian, however, is aware that Barca need to sell players and he could be shown the exit doors. So even though he wants to stay at the club and succeed, the midfielder would consider leaving the Catalans only if he gets to sign for a top Premier League club. However, some reports suggest that Barcelona are not considering his sale, with new sporting director Deco keen on keeping hold of the Ivory Coast international. So it is unclear whether Franck Kessie will remain at the club beyond this summer or secure an exit, but if push does not come to shove, the midfield ace would prefer a transfer to the Premier League. Of course, Franck Kessie has been mentioned quite regularly in recent transfer reports. Of course, this is a guy who have been linked with an exit and having a very torrid spell at Barcelona last season. Franck Kessie have struggled to convince Xavi of a place, but to no avail, to be honest. No matter what he does on the pitch, Franck Kessie have not been able to cement a spot in that midfield department for FC Barcelona, owing to the fact that the manager does not value him that highly, as he does not fit into his tactics, and as well as the player, of course, who was a free agent coming last summer to Barcelona. He's not the type of player that Xavi thinks he is, like a Barca type of player, let me put it that way. And it comes as no big shock that Franck Kessie have been linked with an exit amid a time when Barca need to sell players in order to balance the books. And yesterday there were a lot of contradicting reports, a lot, because there was a report saying that Deco, the soon-to-be director of Barca, have already decided that Franck Kessie will not leave, as he sees him as a very good and important player to be kept in any team, and selling him will not really have any effect in the adjustments of Barca's financial records. That is why Deco have insisted that Franck Kessie shouldn't be sold. And later on, we started seeing other reports contradicting that report, saying that Franck Kessie is on the market and he will likely go to the Serie A again, be Inter Milan, who are the most talked about party, showing interest in Franck Kessie. And now talking about this report today, claiming how the player is not interested in going to the Serie A again, which means that if that is the case, whatever Inter Milan do to sign him, it won't materialize. And there were even talks of a possible player exchange with Marcelo Brozovic, one of the players that Barca still strongly linked with. But of course, Barca rejected such a proposal from Inter Milan, saying that if they want to do any deal with those players, it should be done separately in cash. So, as it stands right now, nobody knows the future of Franck Kessie. It's still uncertain, yes, but is he leaving? Is he staying? A lot of contradiction. The rumor mill keeps bringing in a lot of bombs, and we can't tell how some futures of some players will look like. Up to now, Barca haven't finalized any player sales yet, and they have already bought two players, even though one is not complete yet. We're talking about Vitor Roque from Brazil. That one is already sure, but he have not signed the deal. Ilkay Gundogan have done everything, and he have also passed on his medical. So I think I can say two. Or let me say three. No, it's two, because if we want to count players like Inigo Martinez, it won't be fair because he have not yet officially come to Barcelona, but he have already agreed with the club. That's just all. There's already total agreement. So let's see which players will be sold in the coming weeks, and I hope Barca don't delay because we might be too late because we think that there is enough time, but there is not enough time. Then moving on to the next story of discussion. As reported earlier today, Brozovic of Inter Milan has jumped up to top of Barcelona's target list to strengthen the pivot position. Barca had other players like Zubimendi and Joshua Kimmich on their radars, but understand that a move for them is not feasible. As such, the sports management staff have decided to go after Brozovic, with manager Xavi Hernandez also giving his okay. Now, Sport is reporting that Barca are already working on signing Brozovic on a permanent transfer and have already begun negotiations with the Inter Milan player over a move. It is no secret that FC Barcelona have had their eye since January, when talks of a swap deal involving Franck Kessie were doing the rounds. But even though the operation did not come to fruition, the Blaugrana have kept in touch with the midfielder's representatives. Brozovic has a very lucrative offer from Saudi Arabia giant Al Nash. However, the report states that he is very keen on joining Barca as long as an agreement is reached between them and Inter Milan. It is further stated that Barcelona are offering Inter a fee of 15 million euros for Brozovic. There is no intention of including Franck Kessie as part of that deal, as the club do not want to lose the Ivory Coast international unless it is for a big offer. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.